Hey guys, Cal here, and today I'm here with my 2021 Silverado 1500 with the 2.7 liter turbo. And I've owned this truck for coming up on 3 years now, and I've covered about 40,000 miles in it. So today we're going to go over the good and the bad about this truck. All right, so covering the first bad thing that I'm not really a fan of on the 2.7 liter turbo is I don't know if any other 2.7 owners are experiencing this, but for some reason, if I just start this up and just pull right out of the driveway and start driving down the road, this thing is sort of coughs. It does not give full performance like straight out of the gate if you're just starting it up in the morning. So it's sort of like a two-stroke effect with this thing. So what I'll do is I'll remote start it for like 1 to 2 minutes before I hop in and start driving down the road. And then I notice it runs a little smoother. The transmission isn't really jumping like it does when it's super cold. And the engine is also running a little bit smoother too. And the second thing that I'm not a fan of on this truck is at 32,000 miles, the throttle body on this truck did go bad. And unfortunately, it was on back order. So the truck had to stay at the dealership for about 2 weeks until the part finally came in. So during that time, I was left without a rental. GM was saying that they were going to cover a rental for me, but in order for me to get it, I was going to have to go to Hertz first, pay for it, and then they said they would reimburse me later. I don't know if that's true, so I got a little nervous and I ended up not renting a car and just working something out with some family members in order to get a ride around for that 2 weeks. So that was pretty surprising at 32,000 miles to have that throttle body go bad. And the third thing I'm not a fan of on the Silverado in general, this doesn't really relate to the 2.7 turbo necessarily, but just Silverado quality in general, is on the steering wheel, this trim here. And I'm somebody who, like, I vacuum this thing out weekly. I get the truck washed really regularly. I take really good care of this thing. So to see this happen is a little unfortunate, but this trim piece on the steering wheel, this silver piece, the finish, the clear coat on this silver plastic piece started to wear off. And I mean, I'm not scratching the wheel. I'm not doing anything aggressive to make this wheel wear faster. This is just something that has just started to wear off on the truck naturally. And at only 42,000 miles, it is a little unfortunate to see. And the next bad thing that happened in my Silverado ownership period is this happened in the first year that I owned the truck. It has not happened since, but it did do this thing for I think like a week or two straight where it only happened maybe a couple different days, but the radio I would maybe turn the volume up just a couple notches, and then out of nowhere, the volume would just keep going across like this whole bar down here, and the volume would just be maxed out. And you would try to turn it down, you would try to mute it, it wouldn't let you mute it, it would just be blasting your music. So, like if somebody older was driving this truck, or somebody who maybe had more sensitive ears than myself, they probably would have been in a bad spot. But it hasn't happened since. But that was a little malfunction that was going on with the radio for just a week or two there. All right, and the last thing I wanted to mention on my list of bad things I've had happen with the Silverado during my ownership doesn't really pertain to the 2.7 turbo, but when I originally bought this truck, it came with general grabbers from the factory for the tires, and on consumerreports.com, they are supposed to last 65,000 miles. And they only lasted about 35,000 miles before they started going bald. And that was on all 4 tires, not just the rear tires. So if your truck has general grabbers when you first buy it, just know you're probably going to have to replace them really soon. So I replaced them with these Kelly Edge HT tires. It's kind of an all-season tire. I got it so I could get a little bit better fuel economy than, say, an all-terrain tire. And these have been great tires so far. I put about 5,000 miles on them, and they are very smooth. All right, so now that we've gone over a lot of the bad stuff about this truck that I didn't like, let's go over some of the things that I do like about this truck. And one of those things is I really do like the pickup and the speed on this truck. It is very zippy and very quick. And that 4-cylinder, it accesses peak torque at 1,500 RPM. So great performance on this. A lot of the 5.3 guys that, you know, for their pride, they have to own a 5.3 liter V8. They will always say that engine's better, but you know, performance on this truck is better than the 5.3. It does do 0 to 60 0.2 seconds quicker than the 5.3, and this thing's even got more payload than the 5.3 liter V8. So it has been a great truck in that respect, and it does an awesome job towing. All right, and the next thing I want to cover that I do like about this truck is the radio and how simple it is to use. If you guys have been in Fords, Rams, and Chevys, I think you will agree with me that the Chevy really does have the easiest and least cumbersome system to use. Everything is just right here on the screen for me to look at. I got audio in the top left corner. I can hit it, get right to all my favorites up top, get right to whatever song I was listening to last. You got the phone, which you can access with all your voice buttons on the steering wheel. You do have your onboard Wi-Fi if you pay for it. And just the fact that Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, when you got them hooked up, they just launch automatically. You can get right back to whatever you were doing. And it has not only a great look, but it's just so easy to use in this truck compared to the other two big American truck brands. All right, and one more thing I do like about my Chevy Silverado is the front seat here is really spacious. Now, I will say the chair itself is a little stiff. It's not as comfortable as the one that was in my 2014 F-150, but it is the largest leg room in the half-ton segment compared to Ram and Ford. It's the largest front seat leg room. So for somebody like me, I'm 6'2". I have long legs. It's great to be able to put the chair all the way back and really stretch out. Even though the fact that this is the double cab configuration, this front seat does still go back really far. So if you're taller, it's going to be a comfortable truck for you. And the last thing I wanted to cover about the truck, as far as the good things go, is the size of the bed in this is really good. And even when I open my tailgate, I have a lot of people comment. They say, wow, look at how wide this bed is, or look at how huge it is. And that's because the DuraBed technology that GMC and Chevy uses in their beds, it really does widen the bed floor compared to Ram and Ford. And it makes moving things easier. I've even hauled a motorcycle back here. It's got 12 standard tie downs in the bed versus Ram and Ford only have 4 around the whole bed. So it's a great bed in this truck, and I can't complain at all. The last thing that we will go over for this truck, as far as the good things go, is I am very impressed with the towing capacity on this thing. It is a 2.7 turbo with the double cab setup and the 6.5 foot box, and it is rated at 9,100 pounds. And for reference, before this truck, I had a 2014 F-150 EcoBoost with the short cab and the long box, and that was only rated at 9,300 pounds with the 3.5 EcoBoost. So for this to be only 200 pounds under a 3.5 EcoBoost, which is one of Ford's most powerful engines, it's really impressive. I have towed a boat with this before. I've towed my camper with this before. It's been a great towing machine overall. All right, guys, thank you for joining me today for the good and bad things about my Silverado with the 2.7 turbo. I appreciate you guys tuning into this video. If you'd like to see more videos like this or car reviews in general, you can click the channel name below and go check them out. Otherwise, subscribe now to see more of my future videos. Leave a like on this one, and I'll see you guys next time.